Hi, my name is Sharyn Riley Mancini, and I am a real estate agent and I buy houses here in South Jersey. So this video is geared more towards agents and investors and landlords and rehabbers and people that want to be all of that more so than the usual videos that I do that are geared towards buyers and sellers. So I did a little, earlier in the year, I did a little Investor University series. So I am going to add this video to that series. And also at the end of this, I just want to talk a little bit about something that just happened, an event that we just had. But I'm going to talk to you about something super special at the end of this video. So hang in there. If you are a buyer or seller and want to listen to kind of behind the scenes, if maybe you're interested in getting into the business, if you're an agent looking to diversify your income, or if you're already an investor and you just want to learn a little bit more, then hang in there and we have some great information. Because 2 days ago, I did this event for South Jersey Real Estate Investors Association, and it was about women in real estate. And it was a panel of 3 women that are just rock stars in the business. And I'm just so thrilled and just so honored to be affiliated with women like this that are, not only are they strong and powerful, but they also serve the public at the highest level. And I really believe in that. That is where everything that I do comes from, is to serve first. And I just happen to be able to make a business out of it. So I asked them a series of 8 questions, and I am going to answer these questions on video for you now. So I did answer some of it while we were there. It was the general meeting for what's called SJREA, which is South Jersey Real Estate Investing Association. And I did answer some of the questions a little bit, but I just wanted to make a video answering the questions and tell you a little bit more about what I do and what my perspective is on all of this, because I've been in this a long time and I have a lot to share. So the first question: what is your role in real estate investing? What do you do? And I asked the panel of women, and each one answered in their own way, and each one had a different perspective. So that's what I love about doing this. We're going to do more events like this in the future. But the very first question is they all introduce themselves. So I am a real estate agent. I'm licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, and I also buy houses for rehabs and rentals. And what that means is I wholesale, I do rehabs, I buy houses on seller finance. So I will make more videos about seller finance in the future. There's a couple. If you look at my channel, you will see that I do have a couple actually already established, but more of them to come. So that's my role in real estate. Is I typically make people 3 offers. So I'll make them a cash offer, a seller finance offer, and if they can't take either one of those offers, then I will go ahead and list the house. So the second question is, tell us about your first deal. If you were to do it again, what would you do differently? So I thought about this, and I have been doing this for so long. This really goes back so far. So I'm going to talk about first my very first lease option deal. And that was I think that was around 2010. And I just remember I was coming out of a really difficult time in my life. I've been in real estate for a long time. So through the 2008 thing, that was really hard. So we were all pretty burnt and just damaged by 2010. And I also had an emotional event that happened and just a loss that I was really just still very hurt from. And so I was not in very good shape, and I felt bad and sort of incapable, and I had lost all my money, and it was a very difficult time. So I was really nervous, even though I've been doing this for a long time, and I just never done a lease option deal. So I just want to tell you about that one and what I learned from it. So I started to follow a page, and it was called thenakedinvestor.com. It's still online. The information is from long ago, when I was doing this back in 2010, I was learning about it. And that's when Craigslist was a thing. Craigslist really isn't that great a place to buy or sell anymore, but back then it was in 2010. So I found a seller on Craigslist, and so they were advertising their house for sale by owner, and I sent out emails to sellers, and one replied back and said yes, they were interested in looking at a seller finance deal. So I went over there, I got it under contract, I sold it to a tenant option 8. And I remember when I went over to sign the paperwork, I was so nervous. And I got out of the car, walking up, you know how when you're so incredibly nervous, it's hard to take a breath sometimes? I felt that, I could tell, I was having trouble, literally breathing. I was so nervous. And so I remember when I signed the paperwork, my hand was shaking because I had the pen and my hand was shaking. So this was like the days before DocuSign. We didn't sign everything electronically. I had to literally put like pen to paper and do an ink signature. And I remember like my hand shaking, and I didn't want them to know. I didn't want them to know it was my first lease option, and it was pretty funny. But what I would do differently now is make sure that my contracts were airtight, and just my contracts that I used then, I can't even remember what they were, but I think that they were horrible. I think that I forget where I got them from, but through all of my contracts, like all this time being run by like all different attorneys in a bunch of different capacities, my contracts have gotten so much better and so airtight. And every time an attorney tells me something, like if a tenant optionee or even just a regular buyer brings the contract to an attorney and they give advice, then I'll alter my my contract accordingly. So it was kind of like just built over these years. But back then I didn't have a very good contract. Thankfully, it all worked out well, but just make sure that your contracts are really like all of your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed, because it's important to have that. Everything that is in the contract is how the whole transaction is run. So you want to make sure that you protect everybody involved and just make sure that your contracts are fantastic. The third thing I asked was, who is on your team and how did you establish your team? So on my team, I work with contractors, general contractors, handymen, and handywomen, all of the trades. So it's important to have a plumber, an electrician, everybody, like someone that does septic inspectors, and you build relationships with them all, because the way that I found them all is through relationships. So just everybody in my sphere, my attorneys, the Roella, who is editing this video. Hi, Roella. She's great. She helps me out so much. I could never do these videos without her. She's amazing. So she was introduced to me through another agent. So everything is relationships. Like I talk to people about what it is that I need, and other people that are in the business will know where to find it. So just networking. I've been going to these what's called a RIA, which is Real Estate Investing Association, these RIA meetings since 2005, and that's how I met all of my people. So it's important to have people on your team, because those people on your team are also going to refer you to people that need your services. So I refer them to people that need their services, and they do the same on their end. So it's important to have these relationships, and that's really how I run my whole business. And I touch more about that a little bit further on. What marketing methods do you use that have been successful in finding transactions? Where are you finding motivated sellers? So relationships. So I have done a lot of direct mail in the past. I don't do direct mail as much as I used to. I may start again starting in 2024, but right now I'm not doing any direct mail. So all of my transactions are coming from people that I know. And that is all the people that I just mentioned, like other agents, other investors, contractors, the trades, everybody that I do business with. They are all sending me referrals. I also do open houses because I love them, like especially when I love the presentation of a house. So if I rehab a house, and even if I don't rehab the house and I just stage it, I love to talk to the people that come in. And people, like, we're in an HGTV world, and so open houses are like live HGTV, and I can talk to people about like the improvements that we did and why and how I staged it and what the reasons are for that. And I have a whole nother video about that too. So if you look at my channel, take a look for that. I have a staging video that explains all that. But that's how I find the people that need me. And really, I'm a very spiritual person, and so I feel like I put like all this goodness out into the world, and all of this help and all of this goodwill, and I am just blessed because I just seem to get the right people at the right time, and I keep asking for that. I just keep asking for the right people at the right time, and they happen to come into my life. But being in this, so when you first start, you are going to have to be out there like hitting the streets, and I will talk more about that, but doing more direct mail. Direct mail isn't as effective as it used to be, but I like networking, and I will do more videos about that in 2024, and the way that you can build relationships. And it's all about just who you know. And so that is how I get almost everything that I do. I also meet people at open houses, and a lot of times like neighbors will come by and they'll see how I do the presentation, how I have a pricing strategy that I use. I stage the house so it sells quickly and at top price. And so they're interested in that. And then a lot of times when neighbors are coming through open houses, they're looking because they're interested in putting their house up for sale soon. So that is how I get people that are interested in selling their houses. And my fifth question was, what methods of financing are you using to secure your real estate investments? So I use money partners, and money partners come in all different forms. So I use people that are totally out of the business and they have no interest in actually doing what I do and being out there and talking to sellers and finding buyers. They have no interest in it. Like, let's say a dentist, all right? A dentist is busy fixing people's teeth, but they do want to invest in real estate. So they need some place to put their money. So they will lend me money for my real estate deals, and then they get paid back when the property sells. So that's one example of how I use private money. And I also work with the seller a lot. So the seller can be a source of private money like that. So I take a look at their wealth situation, their tax situation, and sometimes seller finance is a wonderful idea and a place to put wealth for sellers. So I will partner with the seller, but either way, that's where I get it. There's also hard money that you can get and just regular bank loans. So in future videos, I will be talking about other ways that you can secure financing to buy more houses. What are some examples you could share of how you achieve work-life balance in the industry? So when I asked this question, this is sort of an unusual question, and I really got like the greatest compliment from one of my colleagues. And he was like, you know, nobody ever asks that. Nobody ever like thinks about that, but I can't tell you how important work-life balance is. And what I mean by that is the time that you have off, the time that you use to take care of yourself is just important as the time that you are taking to talk to sellers and the time that you are taking to network with colleagues. Like having personal time, having time to myself is just as important as the time that I spend working. So also about work-life balance, I believe a lot in taking care of my mind first. Like I just need to take care of my mind, and then this all works out. Like what I was saying in the previous question, like somehow it all just works out for me because I believe it all works out for me. So belief is so important in this. Like before I had belief, it was really hard for me to get anywhere. It was hard for me to progress in my career, and having that belief is so important. And I spent a lot of time in my work-life balance with taking care of my mind and cultivating what it believes, what it thinks, and what it thinks about me and my capabilities and what I can do. And so once I can get through what it is that I think that I can't do, and sometimes it's subconscious. So a lot goes into this. Like I meditate every day. I do a lot of affirmations. I do a lot of self-esteem and self-belief work. So in doing all of this, it's just, there is something magical happening that is well beyond what we all can see. And I fully believe that. And it's a way that I take care of myself, that I make sure I have the time off that I need, that I make sure that I have the self-care that I need, and that I make sure that I have the self-love that I need. Because even though that's something very personal, it also has such a huge impact on my business. So work-life balance, be good to yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself. And that is just as important as taking care of the people in your networks. So what is the most important piece of advice you would give a younger version of yourself? Believe in yourself. All right. Love yourself. I didn't believe in myself for a very long time, especially as a young girl. And the more I still work on self-belief all the time. Like I realized that I hit different tiers. So just when I think, oh yeah, I totally believe in myself, I have total self-confidence, I realize that there's something that I believe that I cannot do. And I'll work on that part. Like there are parts of ourselves that hold us back. And a lot of it is subconscious too. And so I would tell that younger version of myself how capable she is, how she can help to change the world. She can help to change people's lives, and have confidence in that and believe in that. But I think confidence is something that comes along with age too. And you just don't have that. Like you just don't have that life experience and that confidence that you have, that you get in your later years than you do in your younger years. So having that belief, I wish that I could tell that younger girl how wonderful she is, how smart she is, how capable she is, and how many people she can help and how she can change the world, because now I believe that a younger version of me didn't. So I think that's important. So if you're a younger girl and you want to talk about belief, call me, because for a long time, I didn't have that, and I can help you with that. And the last one is, what is the first actionable step a woman in real estate investing can make? So a lot of my problems when I first started and I didn't have a lot of belief is I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to talk to people. I was afraid. All right. So much fear. There was so much fear going on. And I think that if I had gotten a mentor earlier on, if I had had somebody that I connected with and that could help me with my belief. And I think if I could have partnered with them and used their knowledge and expertise, that would have helped me with my belief too. So my number one, I know it says, what is the first actionable step a woman can make in real estate investing? I have two. All right. The one is partner. Use that person's contracts, use that person's confidence, use that person's knowledge and expertise, and drive for dollars. So I just want to talk a little bit about driving for dollars and why this is impactful. Because this partner that you have is going to be very busy. She is going to have a lot on her plate and is not going to be able to mentor you in really, she can mentor you in coming up with deals, but if you find the deals and you bring them to her, that is going to be so impactful on your relationship and your partnership. And it will help you to build your confidence, build your knowledge, and be able to get contracts that are really that are well beyond average. So what driving for dollars is when you select a neighborhood that has houses in a price range that you want to do business with, that is an area that you want to do business, drive around and look for vacant houses. So it doesn't have to be that the house is falling down. It doesn't have to be that it looks terribly shabby. What is important is that it is vacant. And the way that you can tell that, so first you're going to be looking for houses that have things like a blue tarp on the roof. It has something going up on the roof. There's usually a problem. It's usually vacant. If it is, the people in there aren't very happy living in this house that has a tarp on the roof and has rain leaking in. So that is a good indication. High grass that's not being mowed. What I like to look for is I usually choose trash day, because if there are no trash cans out at the curb, that usually means that it's vacant. And also snow days. So if it's snowing and or if it has just snowed and nobody has shoveled the walks, you can usually tell that it's a vacant house unless they're on vacation. So I do both houses that need repairs, and I help people with houses that are in great condition but are vacant. So you want to drive around the neighborhood, look for houses that you think may have trouble, build a list. There are probably more advanced techniques than building a list on my iPhone, but I just use the note section, and I just put in the address, and then once a month I send it over to my assistant, and they will send out a mailing for me. And I just mail out a letter, and I'm just a very genuine person. So I just I'm not very slick, and so I don't need a letter that's very slick. And it just says, I'm interested in buying houses in your neighborhood. Please give me a call if you're interested in selling your house. So there are ways to do this where you need to track down where that person actually is, because if they're not living in the house, I send a letter to the house just in case they are having it forwarded somewhere. But I also try to find the person's address too, and my assistant will send to all of them. So I think by partnering with someone and driving for dollars and finding these houses so you can bring these deals to your partner and you can do a 50-50 split on them is going to help you so much. You can take every course in the world. You can read as many books, but just being in the trenches and just doing it, you are going to learn so much. So my first actionable step would be to find a partner and drive for dollars, because it's very low cost. It doesn't cost nearly as much as a lot of different marketing methods. And until you get really going with your networking, in the beginning, you're sort of in a catch-22. So you need to network to find the transactions, but you need to have the transactions to get people to send them to you. You have to have some sort of clout in these groups and these rooms of agents and real estate investors to be able to show that you know what you're talking about. You know how to do this. You are an expert in your field, and that way you are going to get these referrals. But in the meantime, you don't have that. So I think that driving for dollars, all it does is cost you gas and time. You can put your kids in the back. You often see me driving around with my little yellow dog. And so it's really, I think, the best way to find transactions. That the other benefit is when you buy a list, buying a list of houses is one, a lot of times they're not accurate. All right, I've sent out a lot of mail to lists that I've bought, and a lot of times it's returned. And not only that, but you're also, lots of other people are buying the list. So if you find an off-market house that's in a neighborhood where you want to buy, you are probably the only person contacting that person. If you're buying a foreclosure list and you're sending out to foreclosures, lots of people, they are getting, sometimes people bring out a stack of letters and they're like, this is all the letters that I've gotten from people that are looking to buy this house, and they will have like 20 pieces of mail. So in driving for dollars, you will be able to be the only person that's talking to that person, and that way they're not too overwhelmed, and they have so many offers and it's so confusing, and sometimes they are just a little bit overwhelmed. So you just want to help these people as much as possible. One-to-one is terrific, and you can figure out, like, I'll look at a person's situation and I'll figure out what is the best solution for them, and all of this comes with experience. So that was all the questions that I asked everybody on the panel. It went great. I am so thrilled with the way that this turned out, and I love it that I could support the people in the room. A bunch of people came up to us afterwards and like swarmed our tables with questions. So I love it that that it shows me that what we're talking about here and what we are teaching people is so impactful. So my big announcement is that right now we are on a YouTube channel that I have that is called South Jersey Real Estate. And that is mainly for the public. It's for people that have a house to sell. And it's for buyers. It's for people in the retail space. I'm starting another YouTube channel that's only for agents and investors. So I will be making more videos like this, and all the topics that we touched on. Like, this is the tip of the iceberg. Like, there's so much more that goes into all of this. So I will be making more videos in 2024, and I am really excited about it. I have for a long time, if you know me at all, you know that I have been in support of women in business and women in real estate in general for a long time. And I really enjoy doing it. I love speaking to these women. I love teaching them. So I will have free content on my new YouTube channel coming in 2024. So I'm really excited about that. And that's all for now. So thank you so much for being a part of this channel. My contact information is below, and I will see more of you in the new year. So thank you.